This is Tom Myers, Superintendent of the Bellevue Community School District in Bellevue, Iowa, coming you with this week's Believe in the Blue update. That way, updating things from the board meeting last evening when we met on March 11th. A few things I just want to go over real quickly here. We had a recommendation to hire, and that's Michael Steinis for assistant track. Also, a resignation, Abby Fitzgerald, who is one of our special ed associates, and she is stepping away to take another position. Some other things, we had several visitors there last night after the consent agenda. They introduced themselves, and we had several members from the Bellevue Education Association there, along with students Ashley Nemmers and Samantha Freiberger, along with their mentor Jim Ott. They talked about social emotional health and some things they are doing in the school with some small groups that way, and the importance of social emotional health. They gave an excellent presentation that way, and it's always great to have our students when they present. I think I always learn something from them and the way they're presenting along with the information in general. Some other things we talked about, and that was part of the common curriculum, but the Bellevue Education Association spoke about the importance of a contract with Chapter 12 changing in the state of Iowa. We can go with an employee handbook now, and just having some discussion about that. And their point, a lot of it came down to the aspect that we've had this, we value this, and we want to make sure that Bellevue is a destination location in the future. And we value the teachers too, as a superintendent, the school board, on the online. We'll have discussions about this at a later time as well. We did talk about tax rate and the comment finance part that way. We are going to publish our proposed budget for fiscal year 2020 coming up here, and our recommendation is to actually decrease property tax rates by 38 cents, and that would move it to 11.78168 per thousand that way. And we are still one of the lowest uh, districts in our area that way, but by far lower than the state average, which last year was 12.46. So we're lowering it to 11.78 if you want to go on that approach. Right now, financially, we're in a stable position in the district right now. We had an increase in enrollment this year, which was a positive. We had an increase of 16, which is very substantial for us that way. So just so you're kind of aware that way. If the bond referendum would pass, and there's satellite voting today at the elementary school during conferences, but if that would pass, the tax rate would raise, but that is one way that the tax rate would raise when voters approve something like that way. Otherwise, the tax rate that we are publishing, it can be no higher than that way in the future. So we do have a public hearing on that on April 8th at our regular board meeting that way. The school board also set the last day of school for the calendar year, for the school calendar of 2018-2019 pending no more significant snow days. We're covered with hours for the next couple snow days that way. We've missed 11 days this year, which is more than I can remember, and actually the more than I can remember as superintendent combined than we've had over the last 5 years. So, but the last school date will be May 31st. Teachers will have a day on January 3rd, along with about 3 other days that we'll be doing as well throughout this school year, along with some other extra time that way. So that's an aspect there that we wanted to get that out to parents and let parents know that. Seniors in graduation, they are being forgiven their missed days and will still graduate on time and not have to return after graduation. We have a board policy 601.1 that explains that. Safety and security is always an important thing in our schools, and we are going to go with a group called Navigate Prepared, as several people in our Mississippi Bend Area Education Agency are looking at this and going to join as well, and they will help us write a safety plan for both buildings that deals with fire, intruders, storms, bomb threats, on down the line that way, along with some training modules for our staff of all levels and all areas, as well as some scenarios with that way, which I think are very important. So, and they will give a mapping of our building as well, not just a map on paper that we have already, but actually it will be uploaded to an app basically, and they'll have pictures of every room, pictures of hallways. When you walk into a room, this is what you would see. So we believe it's a very good investment for our entire school district and school community that way, for the safety of students and everything like that. We did approve a few things that way last night for physical improvements that way for the spring and summer specifically. We're going to put new ceiling tile and lights in, some new, more collaborative classroom furniture. in both the elementary and the middle school. High school, we're doing some work with our middle school locker room, the women's, we did the men's last year. Elementary, middle school restrooms, the parking lot, getting some more lighting on our parking lot, which is needed significantly, I would say, at this point. And then we're also purchasing some Chromebooks for incoming sixth graders. Remember, we purchased MacBooks for our juniors for next year that way too. We also have some Promethean panels that we've purchased in the past and some teacher computers as well. The board gave the permission to go up to $200,000, which was the total of those things. And all this information is listed online under the superintendent, the district, and then superintendent on the Bellevue Community School District website, which is www.bellevue.k12.ia.us. That way, talk about the Bellevue Elementary referendum. That official vote is on April 2nd. That's Tuesday, April 2nd, 3 weeks from today. As I mentioned, there's satellite voting at the elementary right now. So just talking about a meeting. We have one more meeting coming up, a community meeting. The Bellevue Community Club will be attending, along with any community members who want to attend. We've had a variety of different people into the buildings, which is always great to let them see why we're looking at building a new elementary building. We did talk about the school calendar for next year, the 2019-2020 school year. We will have a public hearing on that also at the April meeting, and I will have a draft of that out. There's a similar draft in the documents that you'll see online, but our first day of school will be Friday, August 23rd, this being proposed at least, and then we will return after winter break on January 2nd, which is a Thursday, so go Thursday and Friday. We will likely not build in snow days, but we may have something. If we have more than 3 snow days, we will make one of those up on President's Day or on the spring break time that way after that holiday season. We also talked about a renewal of a Timberline associates that way. They help us with Medicaid payments that way. They've been very useful for us as well. And we also approved a student teaching agreement, kind of a formality with the University of Northern Iowa. Some other things we talked about that way in the meeting as well were a legislative update. We talked about vouchers to the SAVE Fund, which is the extension of the 1 cent levy out to 2051. We talked about a student liaison on the school board, which we already do. That's being talked about as being a requirement of school districts in the state of Iowa. We've had a student representative on the board for about 4 years right now, and Toby Giesman is that person this year, and Toby has done an amazing job of being on there. He was on the last segment of Believe in the Blue, but Toby also organized our donkey basketball last Saturday night. So I want to thank him, and hopefully you came out and saw that event. It was a great event that way. Parent-teacher conferences are today and Thursday. We have a 3-hour early dismissal both days. Conferences today are from 1 to 9, where conferences on Thursday are from 3:30 to 6. Kind of change things up a little bit, see how this works and everything like that. We also had we gave some recognition to our speech team members that advanced on that way, and they have our next regularly scheduled board meeting is actually on April 8th. After that, we went into closed session that way and just talked about some different things with negotiations that way. But I want to take just a second here. We talk a lot about student learning. This is a book I just pulled off the shelf today here, Barking Up the Wrong Tree. And they talk about grit. We always say we want students to give a great effort. To be successful, you have to try, everything like that. Angela Duckworth is a person who talks a lot about grit. She has her own book out, but I want to read this here real quickly. That kids with grit are happier, physically healthier, and more popular with their peers. The capacity to continue trying despite repeated setbacks was associated with a more optimistic outlook on life in 31% of people studied, and with greater life satisfaction, 42% of them. Why do people succeed? People want to be successful, and working to be successful is very important. And I think that's one thing we talk about. It's okay to fail. Try something new. You may fail, but that's okay. Don't just sit in the comfort zone. Life is about more than learning from a textbook and filling in the right answer, filling in the right bubble on a test, or marking it on the computer. Life is about thinking, and life is about far more than ever just being complacent with where you're at. So want to try to get kids to think outside of the box that way and go for more and recognize that if I want to accomplish something, I need to work hard. And I think we do a lot of great things, PK through 12 in our district, to highlight that aspect that way. And it's very important for that grit to be a part of everyone's life, whether you're a student or an adult, on down the line. So on that note, have a great day. Remember, we have a 3-hour early dismissal both Tuesday and Thursday. We do have school next Monday, the 18th. That was originally a day off, but we are having schools at Snow Makeup Day. But there is no school on this upcoming Friday, March 15th. So recognize that way. That's a day after conferences, and it's a little 3-day weekend for everyone. So have a great day, everyone. I'll talk to everyone next week.